UFC 293 just recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. We witnessed a historic upset in the main event that I cannot wait to get at. So make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And let's get into the first fight of the night, and then we'll work our way up to the main. Kevin Jousset strangled Kiefer Crosbie in the first round. Jousset is a legitimate prospect. I believe it at this point now. Taking out Crosbie, who landed a couple of punches on the feet and was throwing really hard hooks. But Jousset was just technically better. And when Crosbie tried to go for a takedown and Jousset countered towards the end of the first round and got his back, Crosbie was finished off. I mean, he was getting touched up on the feet too. The Jousset side was clearly better from the outside, and he got a clean win. The hype was that he was giving Adesanya fits in the training room, and I think he's a legit prospect. I feel like he's got an exciting potential heading forward, you know, saying he wants Ian Gary. He wants to take out the wannabe Conor McGregor. I like the call out. I like the skill set. I like the frame. I like a first-round win because I do think Jousset with this W looks like a real prospect because let's be real, Crosbie, regardless of his lack of UFC experience, he's an ex-Bellator fighter. He's fought at a high level of martial arts before. Great win for Kevin Jousset here and started off City Kickboxing with a W. Next fight on the card, Gabriel Miranda absolutely dominated Shane Young, and I would even go as far as to say embarrassed Shane Young here. He shot for a takedown, got the back of Shane Young, strangled him in 59 seconds. There was really nothing on the feet done by Shane Young. Not only did he lose this fight, he missed weight. He came in at 149.8, nearly 150 for a fight that he's supposed to weigh 146 at. So he misses weight by a ton, goes out there, gets finished in 59 seconds. He's probably canned. If I'm the UFC, he's getting released because to me, massive weight miss and losing streak and awful performance, good, that's the walking bears. Goodbye. I hate to say it, but goodbye. On the side of Miranda, he's a menace at 45. Losing to Benoit Saint-Denis in his debut seemed to actually be a good thing because I was up a weight class and he had some heart fucking felt moments. He was trying out there. He was swinging hard with Benoit. Obviously got fucked up, but Saint Denis is a contender at 155 pounds. Miranda is a scary grappler at 145 pounds. It's going to be interesting moving forward to see how far he can take it because he is 33 years of age, but I do like the grappling skill set and I like the way he finished off Young. It was easy. He made Young pay for missing weight. Next fight, Charles Radtke versus Blood Diamond. Let me tell you guys this. I feel like Radtke did definitely win the fight, and he had a bad third round in which Blood Diamond got some damage off, really swelled up his eye. For Radtke, though, he's in a spot where he's 33. He has a very competitive win over Blood Diamond where he wasn't overly impressive. I think heading into more fights, I don't know, climbing up the ranks, just I don't feel is overly likely for Radtke at 33 with the skill set that he has at this moment. He's a decent fighter, and if he was 27, 26, it's a different story. But at 33 years of age, unable to really take Blood Diamond down consistently and get off any damage on the ground. He had a very hard time with Blood Diamond on the ground. Where he shined was on the feet, where he wobbled Blood Diamond a bit with punches. Radtke's boxing was better than his grappling, but he chose to consistently go towards grappling, which led to kind of a lackluster fight and obviously got him fucked up in that third round a bit. Did ultimately get the decision in which he definitely deserved. For Blood Diamond giving it hell at the end of the fight, whereas Radtke was just hanging on, I think the UFC might give Blood Diamond one more chance. He is 0-3 in the UFC, and normally there's a shot that you get your walking papers with that. But I could see them giving him one more because he gave it hell at the end. But Radtke, clean W for sure. I just don't love the way Blood Diamond was so consistently stopping takedowns. I guess I feel like I'm not overly impressed with Radtke starting it off, even though he did have moments on the feet. The fight IQ is a question mark for me. We'll see where he takes it. At 33, though, I got to be realistic. I don't know about going too far up the ranks as a prospect on the come up. Next fight was Nasrat Haqparast and Landon Quiñones, which is an absolute banger of a fight on the prelims where both guys gave it hell. Quiñones' leg kicks absolutely destroyed Nasrat Haqparast's leg, but the absolute savage Haqparast chooses to continue on. He switches stances, and then as he closes the gap and, gets inside on the kicker, he would switch back to his normal southpaw. Nasrat Haqparast had a good performance, man. He was throwing a lot of volume. He was sticking on Quiñones with pressure. He was definitely touched up in this fight, but the rightful winner. Quiñones had a gutsy effort as an underdog, as a short notice guy, as a guy who lost on The Ultimate Fighter. Yes, he definitely took an L in this fight, deserved to lose it, but he's a lot better than people probably anticipated after coming off that Ultimate Fighter season where he got submitted very early by Jason Knight. Nasrat Haqparast with another win. He notches it in against Quiñones. Not like a huge W for his career. I don't know where he's going, but ultimately what Nasrat does is he comes forward and provides valuable entertainment to the fight fans. He's got a fun style to watch for the most part, and he's absolutely got that dog in him, and that's what won him the fight here. He outdogged Quiñones. It was a clean decision. Good win for Nasrat. Next fight on the card, Jamie Mullarkey versus John Makdessi. So this fight here, I thought that John Makdessi may have stolen this one. I was unsure that it was going to go towards Mullarkey at the end of it. In the first round, Mullarkey looked really good. He got hurt in the second. He was getting touched up in the third. John Makdessi definitely landed the more powerful strikes, and when he landed flush, there was, more evidence of damage being done from the side of Jamie Mullarkey, as opposed to when Mullarkey is landing on Makdessi, he's just eating them. He's kind of just rolling with them, walking through them. The power of Mullarkey wasn't necessarily there. He got a decision nod over Makdessi, who had some great moments. I thought you could have scored the fight towards the side of John Makdessi. And I picked Mullarkey to win this fight, and I did think he'd get a decision, which ultimately turned out to be a perfect prediction. But watching the fight take place, Makdessi in the third round definitely won it. Second round, I think you got to give it to him with the knockdown. Jamie Mullarkey took the first. I thought it was a controversial decision, but we're in Australia. It's close enough. Mullarkey still had some moments in the third round. They give it his way. They give it the Mullarkey side. It's a bunch of fucking Mullarkey. It is what it is. John Makdessi at 38, very gutsy effort, tough L to take, but that's part of the game, man. It is what it is. You leave it to the hands of the judges, it can go sideways. Mullarkey was blessed that he ended up getting the W here. In Australia, at home, snaps the losing streak. Next fight on the card was Chepe Mariscal and Jack Jenkins. Jenkins suffers his first UFC loss. So let's talk about this fight in, depth. Jack Jenkins in the first round was out kickboxing Mariscal for the majority of it and looked faster on the feet, but Mariscal got that dog in him, continued to press forward, eventually did close the gap and do good work inside of the clinch late in the first round. They still scored the first round for Jenkins. Second round, Mariscal found that gap. He closed it. He put pressure on Jenkins. He was consistently throwing back, and then they get inside and like the whizzer throw position that Jack Jenkins found himself in on the defensive ends up getting his arm destroyed. As he goes down, his elbow's out like this. It dislocates completely. And not only that, Mariscal, as he looks to get on top of him, lands on the dislocated elbow. Then there was a verbal submission. Referee comes in and stops it. It was a elbow dislocation stoppage, arm snap, if you want to call it that. The damage was done by Chepe Mariscal's throw. He's an absolute pit bull and an experienced vet, and won as a big underdog here against a prospect that a lot of people felt had a bright future in Jack Jenkins, who still might, but he took a rough loss here to Chepe Mariscal. That elbow was fucked up. I think Chepe's fun to watch, man. It's a pressure style. As an underdog, he brings the fight. I look forward to what's next for him. He's 2-0 in the UFC now, and he just beat a blue-chip prospect in Jack Jenkins. That was a great win for Chepe. Nasty, nasty, nasty arm break, though. Next fight on the card, it's Carlos Ulberg versus Da Un Jung. Da Un Jung landed very good low kicks in this fight. Carlos Ulberg cracked him with the biggest shots really in the first round, was able to drop Un Jung, swarm him with a bit of ground and pound, but a more calculated Ulberg decided to not overly blitz and gas himself. Then the second round, Jung is landing a lot of good low kicks, but the harder punches are on the side of Ulberg. And then as we get in the third round, Ulberg's actually having bad moments, and Jung swarms a little bit. Still, Ulberg finding himself, getting comfortable, getting some shots off. What does he do late? He lands a takedown. He gets on top of Jung. He gets the rear naked choke. Now, the fight was not stopped at the time of the tap. The bell rung, and it seemed like this fight was going to go to the judges' scorecards, but upon further review, there was evidence of a tap by Jung with his left hand on the mat as he was getting rear naked choked by Carlos Ulberg. It counts as a submission win. Ulberg was my lock of the week, so I was obviously excited that he got it done, but let me tell you this much with Ulberg. Winning by submission was not in the forecast. I could not probably have ever predicted an Ulberg win by sub here with Jung. I thought he'd get the knockout. In the first round, he looked close to it. Ulberg by sub? That's amazing. I was impressed by Carlos Ulberg's patience. I do feel like as far as his ceiling as a prospect, I might be dropping it a couple notches. I feel like he'll have some trouble with guys in the top 15. I like a Khalil Roundtree fight. He called out Dominic Reyes, which I thought was interesting. Maybe Reyes gives him a shot. New versus the old. I'd watch it for sure. Reyes just seems so washed, though. And Ulberg might be able to knock him out, really. Looking at how Reyes has looked as of recent, especially with that Ryan Spann knockout loss. He went down like the bodies hit the fucking floor. Holy shit. Jung is really damn tough, but not the winner here. Didn't really offer much with the hands, was hesitant to throw, and he was losing most of the fight. Ulberg's gas tank in the third round is still now a bit of a yellow flag heading forward. So remember that if you're ever considering on the betting side of Ulberg. That gas tank late, little concerning, especially if he ever enters a 5-rounder. Next fight on the card brings us to our main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj. Tyson Pedro put the hammers on Turkalj and knocked him out in the first round to start off the main card, the pay-per-view event. Let me tell you this much. Tyson Pedro did not taste the pleasure, man, but he did taste the fucking pleasure of victory. And I was grateful that he knocked Turkalj out, who looked kind of clunky on the feet, was just trying to grab a lot. Then the jab cross by Pedro. Turkalj was like out on his legs doing the Watutsi and wobbling all around, and then he got dropped. Tyson Pedro jumps on him. Referee jumps in. That's how I'm remembering it. Hopefully it's exactly like that. It was similar to that. If not, I remember the wobbles for sure. Tyson Pedro ripped him up with punches. It was a one-sided fight. It was a first-round knockout. Tyson Pedro was a close money line. I know a lot of people felt like Turkalj was a great underdog. I'm like, dude, I think Pedro's better everywhere. Now, the emphatic knockout, badass as hell, though. Absolute cherry on top for the Tyson Pedro win. I think that he's still good, man. I thought he'd be better than an 0-2 Turkalj, who's now 0-3. I don't know where we place Pedro, though. He's at City Kickboxing now, working his game, and you can see evidence that his striking is more crisp than before. But how far up the ranks? After beating Turkalj, who's essentially a back-ender with no UFC wins, you can't give him a serious jump up in competition. I mean, you give him a slight jump up. I don't have an exact name. I'm thinking of the run-through, right? He lost to Modestas Bukauskas in the last one. So where does that really place him as far as the potential contendership? Somewhat mid-ranked in the heavyweight division is what's next for Tyson Pedro. Don't have an exact name, but somebody in the mid-rankings. And it was an impressive knockout in Australia. He loved to do it at home for sure. And Turkalj, no pleasure for him, man. He might be getting his walking papers after that brutal loss. Next fight was Justin Tafa, Austen Lane. Justin Tafa got his revenge after Lane clawed his eyes in their first fight. Tafa knocks him out in the first round. The overhand drops Lane. Follow-up ground and pound strikes. Absolute bombs from top. Austen Lane kind of, got at the eyes a little bit very early in the first round with Tafa because he pushes off the opponent's head. It's a habit that he has. And that almost fucking, potentially got another stoppage. But instead, Justin Tafa, able to recover from a little eye poke, comes back, hunts Lane down. Lane's got good kicks, but he couldn't mix it up with the hands. When he got into the exchanges, Tafa was right in his face. Eventually found the perfect overhand kill shot, dropped him, follow-up ground and pound. I expected Tafa to sleep Lane, and I was very happy to see it. Sick win for Justin Tafa. It's kind of like we got Mark Hunt reborn here, and Tafa's got a nice record now, 7-3. He's definitely gotten better. I look forward to his future too, man. He's a fun heavyweight for sure. Next fight on the card was the featured bout of the night. and this absolutely delivered. It was a back and forth war between Manel Kape and Felipe Dos Santos. Dos Santos taking this fight on short notice as someone that was just here to step in and, show some courage, and it was expected that he'd get knocked out here. I thought he probably would get knocked out. I thought he was a tough prospect, but to go out there, give Manel Kape problems on the feet, hurt him on occasion as well, take Manel Kape's best punches, who's known for power. You're seeing Felipe Dos Santos getting ripped with shots on the feet, and he's still throwing back. He's still catching Manel Kape. And the whole time, there's a worry of, Kape could get caught. As good as Kape looked, Dos Santos was still tit for tat in that fight. Now, obviously, the decision, 30-27, proper scorecard. Kape won every round, but damn, Felipe Dos Santos is UFC level, and being in the top 15 right now makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, he lost his debut. And on Contender Series, whoever they put next to him, or in front of him, I should say, he would have clean clocked. He would have got an epic highlight reel knockout. It's just he instead got the path of savage and fought a ranked contender in his debut who's on the cusp of a potential title shot with a win over Haqparast, and he gave it hell. So Dos Santos, at just 22, almost 23 years of age, you got to be excited for this kid. His future's bright. It's like almost his birthday. He had the best performance he could have had. Yeah, he didn't win it, but so what? So what if he didn't win it? Doesn't matter that he didn't win. The guy's got skills, heart, and I feel like the future is so bright. Because Charles Oliveira, they're comparing him to, but Oliveira used to break. You guys remember when Oliveira would break in fights? Don't seem like Dos Santos has that. He's a scary player at 125. Imagine him in the next 2 years. He's going to definitely get a step down in competition, but he's going to do some damage to some people after a great performance against Manel Kape, which obviously he lost. Kape's no joke, though. I think Kape right now is a guy that's scary at 125 pounds. I want to see the Haqparast fight. There's serious beef between those two now, especially after the post-fight. Kape absolutely dissed the whole City kickboxing team. And he said he'll come to City Kickboxing to spar with Haqparast if Haqparast pulls out of their next fight. So Kape doing his thing, talking his shit. Let's make it happen. Let's go Haqparast versus Kape. That's a great fight. I want to see it. Striker's delight. Please give us that fight. And Dos Santos, welcome to the fucking UFC. You're impressive, man. I'm proud to have witnessed that. It was epic. I'm proud of this guy, Dos Santos, even in loss. Co-main event, Alexander Volkov versus Tai Tuivasa. So Alexander Volkov beat Tai Tuivasa up here. Like, Tai was still trying to throw hard shots back and, tried to have his moments, but could not close the gap for the most part on the much taller Alexander Volkov, who was also technically superior and crisper with his strikes than Tai Tuivasa was. Volkov absolutely onslaughted Tuivasa towards the end of the first round, ripping him with multi-shot combos. Tuivasa's face was absolutely busted open. Then we get into the second round, and Tuivasa's leg kicks that he was doing in the first round, which were his best shots, seemed to be having an effect, a serious effect. Volkov's legs giving out on him. But what happens? Volkov's throwing heat. He puts Tuivasa down a couple times. Ends up throwing a shot, catching the leg, getting on top, dominating from the mount, throwing ground and pound strikes. Tuivasa unable to get back up to his feet, which at one point he did because they went to the ground once before as well, and Volkov made a mistake and they got up. But the second time, it was game, set, match. What is the submission? Ezekiel choke win. You got to give this guy a $50K bonus, UFC. I heard they didn't give it to him. At least give him 30. Holy shit, Ezekiel choke at heavyweight? We haven't seen that since Oleinik. And who did Volkov shout out? He shouted out Oleinik. Oh, he showed me that technique. It was sick. Full mount, Ezekiel choke submission. Alexander Volkov looked better than ever before. I think his blade is so sharp now. And he did technically drop Tuivasa in the first round, but I believe it was a slight head clash as it happened. Tai Tuivasa is still tough as they come, and he throws heat. He's a fun heavyweight, but he's not a legitimate contender. And that's the truth here. He's not a legitimate contender in the heavyweight division where Volkov is a legitimate contender. I'm going to look up the rankings right here. I'm putting them on my phone. I don't want to put them on screen. I want to look at them right here. Okay. At heavyweight, Tai Tuivasa was 6. Volkov was 7. Where do we put Tai Tuivasa, man? He's in a weird spot. Him and Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a fight that intrigues me. I'll watch a rematch with Derek Lewis. Even a fucking Rogerio de Lima fight at this point. Nascimento also is in the mix up top. Damn, bro. Nascimento might get that fight. Nascimento Tuivasa, maybe. It's somebody towards the back end of the top 15 for Tuivasa next. That's what I'm thinking for Volkov. So he's in the mix, but he finds himself in a little bit of a weird spot because he has a really bad loss against Tom Aspinall, who's a top contender. I could see Volkov fighting potentially. Damn, bro. I was going to say, do we give him the loser of Blades and Jailton? But he already fought Jailton. A Derek Lewis rematch, maybe they try to set up. Because I doubt they give him Sergey Pavlovich. He's not getting gone. He might be fighting backwards. Yeah, the heavyweight division's in a weird place. I mean, maybe if Jailton beats Blades, then you give him Volkov. That wouldn't make sense because Blades is 2 spots ahead of him, Volkov. Yeah, Volkov's in a weird place. I'm curious what the UFC will end up doing. Maybe we got to let some matchups play out at heavyweight. Volkov, they wouldn't give him Spivak, who just lost to Gane. I don't know. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Either way, 3-fight win streak for Volkov, 3 finishes in a row. Absolutely sick performance. There's some big fight on the horizon. Tuivasa should just have fun fights. I could see either one of them fighting Derek Lewis next. I'd watch a Tuivasa-Lewis rematch. We all would, let's be honest. And I'd watch a Volkov versus Derek Lewis rematch also. So maybe those are 2 options that are on the table that, due to the state of the heavyweight division, could be next. Volkov, sick W. He whooped Tuivasa, man. Whooped him. Main event of the evening, it's Sean Strickland dethroning Israel Adesanya in one of the biggest upsets in the history of combat sport. Not just MMA, all fighting. It was mesmerizing. Sean Strickland in the first round is walking Adesanya down, and you're like, okay, Adesanya's making his read. Strickland's, doing good. He's walking him down, but he's eventually going to get touched a bit. Okay, Strickland's walking him down more. Shots are being exchanged. Adesanya can't really land anything significant, but neither can Strickland at this point. Huge right hand sneaks through the guard at the end of the first round, drops Izzy. Sean Strickland is all over him, swarming. The round ends. Sean Strickland dropped Izzy, nearly knocked him out, and beat the hell out of him. And it's like, holy shit, Sean Strickland's in this fight now. Then we get to the second round, and Strickland has a dud of a second round. He really didn't show up in the second. He tried to press, but he was still getting out kickboxed. Adesanya doing a little more with the low kicks and straights, the jabs specifically. Adesanya wins the round. We get to the third round. Sean Strickland's back on him with pressure, lands the more significant strikes, wins it by a clean amount. I scored the third round for Sean Strickland. So heading into the championship rounds, I have it 2-1 Sean Strickland. Anybody's fight. Izzy's been here before frequently. But we know Sean Strickland's got a gas tank and a half, supposedly doing 15 to 20 rounds of sparring. That's insane. Sean Strickland's walking Izzy down in round 4, and he's landing strikes. And Izzy really can't open up or land. He's trying to throw back, but Adesanya's getting hit with the better counter strike. Strickland's boxing in the close range was fantastic. His defense was off the charts to the punches and the kicks. He timed his shots so well and was cracking Adesanya with strikes. His jab was on point. He outboxed Izzy. He crowded the kicker, and he outboxed him. Round 4, he wins. Round 5, you think, okay, Adesanya's going to throw caution to the wind, trying to get it. No. He's continuing to do the same thing, which is allow the bull to move on him and touch him up with shots, being Sean Strickland pressuring Adesanya. Adesanya doing a lot of lateral movement. Sean Strickland at moments cutting off the cage, landing big strikes, touching Adesanya up. Adesanya really not able to land much significant. He's more so surviving. That Sean Strickland front kick was an epic move as well that would set up his combinations closing the gap, and he does that frequently, and it works damn good for him because Sean Strickland is now the world champ, the middleweight champion of the world, Sean Strickland. It's him. He's the guy now. He outstruck Israel Adesanya, the accredited, credentialed, high-tier kickboxer that many consider to be the greatest middleweight of all time, or at least top 2 without Anderson Silva. And Sean Strickland bullied him. 4 rounds to 1 was my scorecard. The judges agreed, and I was glad we didn't have a robbery because we were in Australia. The right guy won. Sean Strickland is the champion. How crazy is this fucking sport? Sean Strickland got the belt. Now, I saw some comments in my live chat because I did a fight companion. You guys know, at least the people that watch the channel consistently know. But if you don't know, hey, now you know. Sean Strickland, they're saying, versus Adesanya, I saw some naysayers, rigged. Rigged is a common word. Adesanya's not throwing any strikes. Adesanya's letting Strickland walk him down. Would Adesanya, if he's going to throw the fight, not just give up after the first round when Sean Strickland drops him with the right hand? Do they not just call the stoppage? They'd call it there. There was no rig in effect. Sean Strickland walked his Adesanya down and had no fear of the power coming back. And maybe he was fearful of it. He respected it, but he was defensively so sound. The striking game is back on top, man. The Sean Strickland striking game, the boxing pressure with the front kick seems like it's all you need to be the world champ if you do it as good as Sean Strickland does. There was no rigged fight. Many would say, oh, rig, Adesanya didn't do anything late. He didn't try to go for it. He had nothing left. He got dog walked by Sean Strickland and broken inside of that cage. Now, there's some factors that could potentially come into play why he didn't look as good. He's been very active as a champion. We already know this. Could he have maybe been coming into this fight not at 100%? Probably. Almost every fighter's not coming in at 100%. Did Sean Strickland have the best night of his life? Sure. Seen a lot of people. I saw it on Twitter. Dricus du Plessis would have dog walked him too. Who the fuck really knows? All I know is that Sean Strickland dethroned Adesanya. And we can say chirp here, chirp there, and say this guy would have beat him, that guy would have beat him. Who gives a fuck? Sean Strickland beat him. Sean Strickland is the baddest middleweight on the fucking planet now. Period. Who's next for him? That's where I think things get murky. Because you got some analysts calling for, this was in the UFC post-fight broadcast, oh, not an immediate title shot for Adesanya because he recently lost the belt to Pereira and then won it back. But he was dominant champion outside of that. So not Adesanya. If these overlap the division, we give it to Dracus now. That doesn't seem right to me. It's Adesanya Strickland too. That's the fight to make. Nobody's done that to Adesanya, walked him down and bullied him the whole time. Sure, the first Pereira fight, but remember, Adesanya had good moments in that first Pereira fight up until the loss. He was getting bullied in this matchup. His best moments were low kicks and jabs to the body here. Sean Strickland whooped his ass. One of the biggest upsets ever in combat sport. Sean Strickland's the guy. There's no fucking rigged fight. It's Strickland's that pit bull, and he kept coming forward, and he broke Adesanya down, and he was better. And that's the truth. And people have a hard time accepting it because they look at Sean Strickland, how's that guy better? Because he is. Because he's working all the fucking time. He is that guy. His style worked perfectly in this matchup. He crowded his Adesanya, kept him on the back foot, didn't let him set his feet to throw beautiful kicks or power strikes, and he was all over him the whole time. And he had the gas tank to do it for another 5 rounds because Sean Strickland's gas tank is some of the best gas tanks in MMA. Maybe the best gas tank in the heavier weight classes for sure. Obviously, there's guys like Volkanovski and Merab out there who have great gas tanks too. Yeah, Strickland was incredible. He beat Israel Adesanya. He dog walked him. Huge upset win. I was honestly, as a fan, over fucking joyed to see an epic upset like that. I live for upsets like that. I live for the crazy shit, the historic moments. That's what makes this game so fucking exciting because it's not like anything else. You can predict it, but you can never know for sure until that cage door closes and then that final bell sounds off. Sean Strickland, and new champion, defeats Israel Adesanya 4-1. There was no rig in effect. Don't fucking think it's rigged. I know someone's going to be in the comments. I already see it. No, bro, Adesanya didn't try. He threw the fight. It's rigged. Then why didn't he just lay down after the first round? Exactly. It's not rigged. It's a real fight. The Drake curse. Adesanya, Drake bet on him. What else? The UFC cover curse. Last time he was on the UFC cover, he took an L. Boom. The double curses. He was destined to lose. Sean Strickland's bringing the belt back to USA. American champion. We got the Sean era. Sean Strickland, Sean O'Malley, back-to-back upset main event and new champions. Holy hell. What a time to be a fight fan. Amazing performance for Sean Strickland. He dethrones Adesanya. I would like to see them do it again. Now, if Israel Adesanya needs a little break, needs some time off, that's fine. I guess then Dricus du Plessis could potentially slide into that spot. Izzy will fight the winner of that, I believe. I don't think you're giving Izzy a non-title fight. He's 24-3. He's a champion. 11 straight championship fights for a reason. I think we do it again. Rematch, Strickland Adesanya. We'll see when they're ready. We shall find out. Let's review the picks on the night. So, my official record, 8 wins, 4 losses. Obviously, I picked Israel Adesanya to beat Sean Strickland, as pretty much everybody did. Besides a few wild child. So shout out to you guys who picked Sean Strickland as a dog. Had somebody in the live chat that bet 900 on him. So shout out to you. You're an absolute savage. Adesanya loses. Took an L there. Had Volkov over Tuivasa. Called it there. Had Kape over Dos Santos. Called it there. Had Tafa over Lane. Called it there. Had Pedro over Turkalj. Called it there. Ulberg was the lock. Had it there over Jung. Thought Jack Jenkins could outwork Mariscal. I had him in a competitive fight on decision, the official prediction. But you guys know if you watch the channel, I said that Chepe is a pretty live underdog every time he comes out, especially against Jack Jenkins, who's, rather improving at a higher level. Chepe's that dog, and we should have rolled with that dog. Jamie Mullarkey had him over Makdessi. Even though I got that pick right, I kind of feel like it could have went the other way. I thought Makdessi did enough. Had Haqparast over Quiñones. Got that one. Radtke over Blood Diamond. There we go. Lost because I didn't want to pick flip after the win, but I should do the auto fade Shane Jung. I guess it's too late now. Lost with Jung over Miranda. And I thought Kiefer Crosbie might be able to outdog Jousset. Damn, was I wrong. Started the night off rocky with 2 losses, but then turned it up and went 8-4 for the night. So I'm happy. As far as the most confident picks on the card, obviously honorable mention, Charles Radtke, and then Nasrat Haqparast, Jamie Mullarkey, who won, lock Carlos Ulberg. Tyson Pedro, who I said at close money or dog money was a good play, and that's on the This Week's Best of a Maybet show, which I do every Wednesday. Manel Kape, obviously, and, I didn't anticipate this one, though. Got this one wrong with Adesanya Strickland as a high-confidence Adesanya call. Boy, could I have not been more wrong. But, hey, 8-4, pretty damn great night. Hit with the lock. Amazing night for the fucking UFC and the fight game as a fucking whole. You guys know I'm excited as hell. That's why I'm dropping F-bombs every other damn word. Guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the week's worth of content. I'm back with more of the UFC predictions. At the time you're watching this is September 10th. We're going to be dropping later today. So keep your eyes peeled for next week's picks. Much love, everybody. Make sure you smash the likes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Definitely let me know what you thought of the event in the comments down below. Do you think this main event's rigged? Are you part of the delusion train? Or are you sensible? Do you see the game as it should be? Sean Strickland 4-1. He outworked Israel Adesanya. Let me know in the comments. If you have nothing to say in the comments, if you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. And I got to shout out everybody. On the live stream Fight Companion, I had 101 donations in chat. You guys were so generous. I appreciate the fuck out of all you guys, man. We passed 21,700 subscribers on it too, which was epic. And it got over 55,000 views. The Fight Companion was popping off. So if you guys aren't tuning into the Fight Companions, you definitely should. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got mad love for the community. Thank you guys all so much for supporting me, for making this thing possible. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, smash the likes, and, those post notifications, make sure to turn them on. I say it all the time. Don't just leave them on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video, because I got daily content. You don't want to miss the enjoyable, entertaining, and informative content that I'm dropping for the fight game every single week. Much love, my people. Have a great night, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.